Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a project only to see someone else get all the credit? It's a gut-wrenching feeling, right? Well, let me tell you a story about how that exact thing happened to me, and how it led to the most satisfying office revenge I could have ever imagined. It all started about 5 years ago. I was working as a junior developer at a mid-sized tech company. Let's call them Innovate Corp. I was ambitious, eager to prove myself, and honestly, a little naive. I loved coding, and I was pretty good at it. My direct manager, we'll call him Bob, was one of those old-school types who believed in paying your dues. He wasn't a bad guy, just traditional. The real problem was my colleague, let's name him Kevin. Kevin had been at the company a few years longer than me, but his technical skills were, to put it mildly, not great. He was a master of talking a big game, using all the right buzzwords in meetings, and making it seem like he was working tirelessly. In reality, he spent most of his days browsing the internet and delegating his actual work to others, especially me. Because I was new and wanted to be a team player, I'd often help him out. "Hey, can you just take a quick look at this bug?" would turn into me rewriting entire modules for him. I'd stay late, work through lunches, and solve complex problems that were technically his responsibility. I told myself it was good practice, that I was learning and growing. And I was, but I was also enabling Kevin to build a reputation on the back of my efforts. The breaking point came with Project Chimera. This was a huge, company-wide initiative to overhaul our main software platform. It was a massive undertaking, and being assigned to it was a big deal. I was thrilled to be part of the core team. Kevin was on it too, of course. From the get-go, I was the one doing the heavy lifting. I designed the new architecture, wrote the most critical pieces of code, and spent countless nights debugging and optimizing the system. I was living and breathing Project Chimera. Kevin, on the other hand, was the project coordinator. He organized meetings, which I usually ended up leading the technical discussions in, and sent out update emails, which were basically just summaries of the progress I reported to him. I kept a detailed log of my work, not because I was suspicious at first, but because it was a complex project and I needed to track my progress. Every function, every module, every breakthrough, it was all documented. I'd send my updates to Kevin, who would then repackage them and present them to Bob and the higher-ups. The launch of Project Chimera was a massive success. The new platform was faster, more stable, and received incredible feedback from our clients. The company's revenue saw a significant jump. Everyone was ecstatic. A week after the launch, the CEO called an all-hands meeting. He stood on stage and started talking about the monumental achievement of Project Chimera. My heart was pounding. I thought, this is it. This is the moment my hard work gets recognized. The CEO then said, "I want to give a special thank you to the person who was the driving force behind this success. His vision and technical brilliance made this all possible. Please give a huge round of applause for Kevin." The room erupted in applause. People were patting Kevin on the back. He stood up, beaming, and walked to the stage to shake the CEO's hand. He gave a speech about our team's hard work and the long nights, but it was clear everyone saw him as the hero. My name was never mentioned, not once. I just sat there, frozen. It felt like a physical punch to the gut. I looked over at my manager, Bob, who was clapping enthusiastically. He caught my eye and just gave me a little nod, as if to say, "Good job supporting the team." I was devastated. It wasn't just about the praise, it was about the complete erasure of my contribution. I had sacrificed my personal life for months for this project. That night, I went home and couldn't sleep. I felt foolish and used. The next morning, I walked into Bob's office and handed him my resignation letter. Bob was shocked. He said things like, "But you have such a bright future here, and don't make a rash decision." I calmly explained that I felt my contributions weren't being valued or even seen. He tried to downplay it, saying Kevin was just better at managing up and that I should learn from him. That was the final straw. I told him my decision was final. I packed my desk, said a few quiet goodbyes, and walked out of Innovate Corp for what I thought was the last time. The next few months were tough, but also liberating. I started doing freelance work, taking on smaller projects to build my portfolio and my confidence. I realized just how much I had learned on Project Chimera, and my skills were in high demand. I was making good money, setting my own hours, and most importantly, getting full credit for my work. About 6 months after I left, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Bob. He sounded frantic. "We have a huge problem," he said. "The system, Project Chimera, it's crashing. We have a critical bug and no one here can figure it out. Kevin has no idea what to do." A small, wicked smile crept across my face. I listened patiently as he described the problem. From his description, I knew exactly what it was. It was a complex issue related to memory allocation in a module that I had written from scratch. A module Kevin probably didn't even know existed. Bob pleaded, "We need you. We need you to come back and fix this. The whole platform is down, we're losing clients, it's a catastrophe." And then I saw my chance. I took a deep breath and said, "Bob, I'm a freelance consultant now. My services are available, but they come at a price." He asked what my rate was. I paused for dramatic effect, and then told him my hourly consulting rate. It was, quite literally, triple what my hourly salary had been when I worked there. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. I could almost hear him doing the math in his head. That's incredibly high," he stammered. "It's my rate," I replied calmly, "and I'll need a contract with a minimum of 40 hours guaranteed, paid up front." He said he needed to talk to upper management. Less than an hour later, he called back. "Okay," he said, sounding defeated. "We'll pay it. We're sending the contract over now. When can you start?" "As soon as the payment clears," I said. The next day, I walked back into the Innovate Corp office. It was surreal. The atmosphere was tense. People were running around, looking stressed. Bob led me to my old desk, which was exactly as I had left it. Kevin was there, looking pale and flustered. He avoided eye contact. I didn't say a word to him. I sat down, opened my laptop, and got to work. Within about 3 hours, I had identified the bug, written the patch, and deployed the fix. The system came back online. The collective sigh of relief in the office was audible. I spent the rest of my 40 contracted hours doing a thorough system audit, documenting everything, and creating a clear guide for future maintenance, something I should have been allowed to do in the first place. I made sure to CC the CEO on all my reports. In every document, I meticulously detailed which parts of the code I had originally written and which parts I was now fixing. It was a paper trail that made it impossible to ignore my role. On my last day, the CEO himself came to my desk. He looked humbled. "Thank you," he said. "It's clear we made a huge mistake letting you go. Your work is exceptional." He then looked over at Kevin, who was trying to look busy, and then back at me. "We'd like to offer you your old job back, with a significant raise and a senior title." I smiled politely and said, "Thank you for the offer, but I'm very happy with my new career path. However, my consulting services are always available, should you need them in the future." Walking out of that building for the second time was one of the best feelings of my life. I hadn't just gotten paid, I had gotten something far more valuable, recognition and respect. They finally understood my worth, but only after they were forced to pay for it, literally. It wasn't about the money, it was about the principle. And let me tell you, revenge, when served with a contract and a 3-fold rate increase, is very, very sweet. So if you're ever in a situation where you feel undervalued, remember your worth. Sometimes, the best move you can make is to walk away and let your absence speak for itself. You might just find that they'll come back, ready to pay the price. Thanks for listening to my story, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.